Hey, what's happening guys? Joqq here and welcome to our week 4 APA Wi-Fi battle against the commissioner, one of the commissioners of the league, Miticus. We're looking to bounce back off of a really annoying loss last week with that horrible choke. And we're facing Miticus today, who has a fantastic draft with like the 6 you can see of like Hitmontop, Aerodactyl, Salazzle, Ferrothorn, Snorlax and Garchomp. He also had really scary Pokemon like Manaphy and whatnot on his team, so the team I've come up with the come on. I wanted to upload a team builder, but we didn't get the battle done until quite late on Saturday, and I was working all day Sunday, so I just didn't have time to record it. So the 6 I have is Thunderous Therian. It's a Zap Plate with Volt Switch Thunderbolt, Incinerate and HP Ice. It basically destroys his entire team. We have a physically defensive Mandibuzz with Double Dark with Knockoff and Foul Plate. I wanted U-Turn, Brave Bird, but I felt like those two moves were the best, and then just Roost and Defog. I have nearly a fully Spadef Jellicent with just enough defense to live 2 Stone Edges from a offensive Aerodactyl, and so that I can just revenge kill with a Scald or whatever. I then have my Mega Alakazam with just enough speed to outspeed his entire team, max special attack Modest and a tiny bit of HP, and it has like Psyshock, Focus Blast, HP Fire and Dazzling Gleam I think. Then we have what was meant to be a Choice Scarf Cobalion, but it turned out my Jenner sent me the wrong Pokemon. Well, shout out to John for genning the teams and Miticus for recording the battle for me, it's muchly appreciated. He actually sent me a Life Orb Subcombine Cobalion, so we'll see if it helps or hinders us later on in the battle. And then I have Navy Meloetta with max HP, a little bit of speed, about 40 defense, just so that it lives two Stone Edges from Aerodactyl, and best in max special attack Modest. So looking at this team, the only real reason that Meloetta was here was because it could live a +6 hit from Manaphy from full, and it was also my best answer to Electros, so I knew it was quite expendable. I thought it was possibly going to be a Scarf Garchomp because it was the biggest threat to my team, so I thought my Thunderous was probably free to Volt Switch around because I don't know if he would risk it on a HP Ice. So taking that into consideration, I'm going to lead off with my Thunderous just because I know if he wants to bring his Garchomp in, he's really risking just getting O-code by a HP Ice. So here we have Miticus sending out his Hitmontop, that's what he's led with, and I lead with my Thunderous. And so he shows Intimidate, so first off it gives me the thought that he's 100% defensive. So I just Volt Switch out. I didn't expect Garchomp to come in, and this shows that he's either max HP, max defense, or he might be slightly offensive. I didn't expect that, so I just go into my Meloetta knowing that I can take anything, and he goes for a Rock Slide, and this shows that he has 0 attack. And this is what I mean by my Meloetta being the most expendable. I just sort of fire it in quite a lot because it's not actually got a job on the team, it's just here for real big damage now. So here, no one is only switching to this as Ferrothorn or Snorlax. I just click Focus Blast and hope that we thing it. So we hit the Focus Blast here, and it made me sort of think this is possibly an AV set, so I felt like I was pretty free that Psyshock would actually do more damage, and if not do more damage, it would at least do like the 30% that I need to 2-hit KO, and that does look like it 2-hit KOs. And this return does absolutely nothing because I don't think he realises you have to get the happiness back when it's been traded to you, so I can pick him off with another Psyshock, and that's, you know, Meloetta picking up its first kill, popping off the Snorlax, and it's still at a healthy enough point to continue the game. So he sends in his Chomp, and his Chomp guaranteed kills me with like even an Earthquake. So I switch out to my Mandibuzz as he makes he made a double into his Ferrothorn. I think he was predicting me to be HP Ice because I think he thought I was fully physically defensive, which would have lived the hit, but I think it was just his return damage not being properly. So I knock off the Ferrothorn here just in case he's Orca Berry, because I need to get rid of that for my Thunderous to revenge kill it later, and he turns out to be Chople Berry, so that's not too bad. And he sets up his Stealth Rock, which I want to defog away straight away because like I don't want the chip really, and I thought like, well, I've got my defogger out, so, and he can't do much to me. I think a Gyro Ball was going to do like 20-25%, and so he sets up the Seeds here, which It's not good because Mandibus has such a massive HP stat that Ferrothorn heals back out 200% of its life just with one seed. So the Ferrothorn basically gets back to full HP from this one seed, and so I want to switch out because I expected him just to set his Stealth Rock up again because he knows my Mandibus can't touch him. So I go out to my Thunderous on what I expected to be Stealth Rocked, and he makes a really good play in double Leech Seed and expecting to switch out. So I contemplated this next turn for quite a while because I switched my Thunderous in, which kind of shows that I have something to hit it, whether it be Focus Blast or Incinerate. But I thought, I don't think he'll switch in his Garchomps to Incinerate, it's just a pretty nice move to click. And this does a massive amount of damage. And he Gyro Balls and crits me, but this crit shows me that this is quite an offensive Ferrothorn. It has quite a lot of attack. So the Leech Seed takes me down to the point where Thunderous is nearly useless, but the Ferrothorn's in range of a Volt Switch, so I can just Volt Switch out of here and save it for Death Fodder later on, and this puts us like 6-4 up, albeit with the Thunderous not doing too great because it's outsped by 3 members of his team, and I expected them on top to have Sucker Punch. So I sent out my Meloetta because at this point I knew if he sends in anything else, it lives the hit, apart from Garchomp, and I have like I don't have an issue switching into Garchomp. And he switches in his Aerodactyl, and albeit it looks like he gets unlucky with the roll, he actually gets basically a max roll. I was guaranteed to live Life Orb Stone Edge with at least 2 HP, and you'll see I live with 6, so he gets near max roll. And then we can fire off a T-Bolt, and I was hoping it would pick up the kill, but it just leaves him on a sliver of health. So I just sacked my Meloetta so that he could die to the Life Orb, and that puts us 5-3 up. And although Meloetta never got that kill, Meloetta put in a huge amount of work this game, basically picking up 2 kills and taking away one of the biggest offensive threats, one of the biggest defensive threats to my team. So he sends out his Salazzle, and I expected this and sent out my Mega Alakazam, which basically gets a kill here because the only thing that switches in is Garchomp, but I just knew he wouldn't want damage on Garchomp because it would put it in range of a Scarf Cobalion's HP Ice, which would basically mean the game's over because Garchomp's the only way he has of winning the game. So clicking HP Ice was clicking Psyshock was just a play because it Oko this and it would have killed the Hitmontop where it's at, and Alakazam picks up a kill here on the Salazzle. So now we're 5-2 up. He only has like his Hitmontop at about 60%, and this Scarf, well, what I thought was Scarf Garchomp at this point in time, he hadn't shown it. So I switched out here into my Thunderous just as a sack to see what he wanted to lock himself into because I didn't want to play around with it, and he goes for Crunch, which basically allows me free switch into my Cobalion. And then it was at this point I noticed I clicked on my Cobalion to go into it, and I seen Calm Mind, so I knew there was something up my set. So I think he had sent me a wrong Cobalion, and maybe had a different Cobalion in his box, but it's not a big deal because we can sub up here knowing that he's going to switch out because he's not going to give me a justified boost. And this lets me get the sub up, and this Hitmontop, I didn't expect it to have Mach Punch. I expected it to have Sucker Punch as its priority just for Alakazam, so I knew the only way it could break my sub was by clicking Close Combat, which meant I didn't have to risk Focus Blast to kill it because I knew 2 Flash Cannons would kill after the Death Drop from Close Combat. So he Close Combats to break my sub, which is good for us because it means he either has to take a Flash Cannon on Garchomp or sack his Hitmontop, and he has to keep Hitmontop for Death Fodder so that he can like Earthquake to kill this, and then he can lock himself into Outrage to win the game. So I just Flash Cannon again, knowing it will pick up this kill, but he makes a good switch of going into Garchomp to keep this as like Death Fodder so that he can have the Earthquake Outrage switch up. And this Flash Cannon does a decent amount of damage, showing that it's just as I expected, like a fully offensive Garchomp. So I really am thinking it's Scarf at this point in time. He would have Earthquaked my Cobalion if it wasn't. He wouldn't have attacked my Alakazam if it wasn't. So I go into Mandibus here knowing that there's nothing he can really do to cause issues, and he crunches. And I should have knocked off here because knockoff like basically guaranteed the win. Because if I knocked off the Garchomp's Scarf, couldn't beat my Alakazam, and Alakazam would have just come in and cleaned up the game, but I clicked foul play, and if I had knocked off this Hitmontop, it would have just basically been unable to beat my team because it needs a leftover recovery. But luckily enough, foul play is doing slightly more than leftover, so we will over time slowly be able to chip this down. And because I expected Sucker Punch and Rapid Spin, and he'd shown close combat and Rock Slide, I didn't expect him to be able to Toxic me, so I was willing to get into like a bit of a stall battle here because I just knew as long as I stayed above like 100 HP, the Garchomp couldn't 2-hit KO me, couldn't OHKO me, and that would be enough to get like a foul play off or a roost. So we foul play here as he close combats, and that means he's in range of the next foul play. So he switches out to his Garchomp. I don't know why, because you know, I think he knew he had lost the game at this point because he had no way of killing Mandibuzz. I think he would, don't know, trying to get it as weak as possible, but I foul play as he switches back into the Garchomp, and it takes a good like 40% from this, leaving him in the red. And I think his only way of winning is flinching me down with Rock Slide, then switching into Hitmontop, stacking it off, and spamming Earthquake, I think. So he tries that, and if he had got my Mandibuzz down, he could have won that way, but he doesn't flinch us, and we get the foul play off, meaning Mandibuzz is just gonna 1v1 the Hitmontop and pick up the W. So he sends in his Hitmontop, and I'm going to knock off because I wasn't exactly sure how much foul play was doing to him compared to leftovers, and I knew knock off plus foul play if he didn't have leftover recovery was going to 2-hit KO him. So he Sucker Punches just for a little bit more damage, I guess, and lets me get rid of his leftovers, which means the next foul play will pick him up, and we pick up a good 4-0 win after that horrible 1-0 choke last week. Good game of Miticus. Don't think it was his best game. I know he can play better than that. I've seen him play better than that. I don't think he had much for Mandibuzz. Not bringing the Electros was a big issue. So thanks for watching. Thanks to Miticus for a great battle, and hopefully next week we can keep this winning streak. Well, it's not really a winning streak, but start a winning streak and go on to better things.